Hi, everybody. Robert A. Bonavito here, New Jersey Forensic Accountant. Today's topic is going to be case information statement, which is used mainly in divorces. It's one of the most important documents in divorce and I think in litigation in general. So let's talk a little bit about this. Now, why is it important? Two reasons, two laws that you may want to know about. First of all, if you're getting divorced, it's required. Okay, this is Rule 1:38. They tell you everything you do with custody, alimony is going to be based on this. The second rule is really important. It's Rule 5:5, which means everything in this is confidential, which is good to know. And that's why I tell clients, put everything in here. It's confidential. No one can get access to it, So those two rules are important. Why is the CIS critical to you? CIS reflects the family's lifestyle, current and past spending, the asset accumulations, earning potential. Everything you want to know about the case if you're getting divorced you should be able to look at the CIS statement and know pretty much everything about the finances of that couple. Now, each couple is going to prepare their own CIS statement, obviously. Judges will look at this to make decisions, and if it's not accurate, it's going to cause a lot of problems. It helps a lot if both prepare CIS statement for a quick settlement. But if you prepare and the spouse doesn't, well, they're going to rely on yours and not his. And it's just remember, you need to give everybody a tool. And this is the most important tool in a divorce. And if it's a tool that is improperly made, well, there's going to be big problems. And I have a link below in the description area where you can get a copy of the CIS statement. Here's the link if you need it. So our experience with the CIS statement, we find that people spend very little time on CIS statements. It's like an afterthought. They have a cavalier attitude about the CIS statement, which is a big problem. When we're brought in, we're usually brought in late, unfortunately, and we look at the CIS statement. I'm just stunned how inaccurate. There's no backup here, and I'm thinking to myself, I feel sorry for the parties because they're going to be in for a shock. What's going to happen because they didn't spend the proper time on a CIS statement. Yeah, this is like having a straw foundation of a house. Doesn't matter how beautiful the house is. Whatever the attorney does, doesn't matter because if you have a bad CIS statement, it's just going to cause a lot of issues. I can't underestimate how important the CIS statement is. Okay, I just can't. It's very, very important. And what happens when you have a poorly prepared CIS statement? This is why. Everything's multiplied by 10x. The amount of fees you pay is 10x. The amount of time you spent is TX. The amount of expert, everything is 10x because you didn't spend the time doing a proper CIS statement. For example, if you have a divorce that costs $15,000, it's going to cost $150,000. Plus, you're going to spend that much time on a divorce. It just wreaks havoc. If it's $100,000 to $300,000, you're going to spend over $3 million. Okay, and that's why you hear these crazy numbers in courts. Well, the divorce, the fees were $30 million. Why? A lot of times it's because they didn't prepare the CIS statement. No one knew anything about the numbers. So take your time and prepare it. Now, here is a CIS statement I'm going to go over with you. Like I said, there's a link below in the description area. Okay, so, basically this is all the information, the attorneys, the plaintiff. This tells the court who it's for, what divorce matter. And the instructions, they're pretty good. I mean, you should follow them. It's pretty, it says expenses. Have backup for your expenses. You must prepare the case information statement for a divorce. Everyone has to. Usually they just put, hundreds and tens or 50s for all the stuff on here. They don't actually have any backup. And they say attach copies of documents, which, we really don't prepare these, unfortunately, but we'd have all kinds of exhibits. And, my CIS statement would probably be 300 pages or maybe 400. Okay. And also remember, we have people who get divorced and the kids go to college and they're like, well, who pays for their college? No one knows. So put things in there, CIS. You could put things, hey, by the way, the kid, has a disability. We need some, he needs that to be taken care of. He's going to med school, whatever it is. Put it in a CIS statement. This statement should tell you everything about past, future, and, about and current situation. Now, this is kind of important here. The date of the statement. This is when you actually prepare it, okay? Because remember, things change all the time. But the first CAS statement you should prepare should be really accurate. Now, maybe you're going to have to go back if you learn something new and amend it and change it, and you have a new date on it. So there could be 3 or 4. Most people don't do that, unfortunately, but update the CIS statement, okay? So, okay, this is the most current one. But the first one should be cover 98% of the stuff, and then some things change, and you'll add to it. And again, date of prior statements, and your birthday, date of separation, date of complaint. Make sure these are accurate, okay? Cause of action, all this stuff here. If you don't understand it, you got to ask your CPA or your lawyer. The names, the children's names and birth dates, critical. Judges are going to look at this and see if there's any children. If they're 6 or if they're 18, makes a big difference. Okay, if they're going to college or if they're just going to kindergarten, they need to know. Miscellaneous information. Are they self-employed? Insurance. Make a file. And the good thing about a good CIS statement, you have everything there, and you could just go and refer to it once it's done. Does he have insurance? What does his or her, pay stub look like? Okay, the income. What was your income? Use the actual W-2s and reference it. Okay, Exhibit A, it's your tax returns. Exhibit B is your W-2s. Make it so people know that, hey, I spent time on this. Okay, your taxes, everything. These are never prepared right. I'm like, call it, have your CPA do it if you don't understand it. Attach stuff. They're asking, did you attach? Yeah. Exhibit A, Exhibit B, Exhibit C. Gross income, deductions. We have people, some executives from Fortune 500 companies have like 30 deductions. Okay, and if you spend the time to get that, the pay stub is key here. Okay, or if they have like a contract, get it. Have your attorney subpoena it, and then itemize everything. Okay, he makes $50,000 a month, and here's his deductions, and his net check is $25,000. Those deductions are important. We get hired just to figure those out sometimes, and they're always spend the time. You don't have to be an expert, but once this is going to affect you the rest of your life. Do the research. If you need help, get help. Okay. Unearned income, be on, answer every single question here, and use what's called System 2 thinking, which is deep thinking. Okay, think deeply. Okay, because like I said, this will save you a ton of money, and you're going to understand your finance. A lot of people say, I never was involved in this. I'm like, okay, well, now you need to understand finances. Okay, you need to become an expert. So when someone says something, you're like, yes, I have my CS, it's Exhibit D. Okay, that is going to help everybody, and you're going to get a much better divorce. That's what we do when people hire us as forensic accountants. We're like, okay, everything's right there. Go through all these questions. Over time, if they work for the town or something like that, or for the government, you may have a situation like that. If they're self-employed, it gets a little complex, but you should still be able to understand a lot, and usually we'll get brought in to help. But really dig down and try to get the safety deposit box. Is there one? Okay, here where they're saying, okay, what is the joint lifestyle? What did you live on? Now, this you should know. If you have to, go through the bank statement, get an Excel sheet, and add up everything. Don't put rent was $2,500. Put rent was $2,575. Put the exact number, Exhibit X, okay? And they can go there and they can see your spreadsheet. And then if they want, you can actually show them the canceled checks. Show them a copy of the contract. Make it so that these are iron heat. It's not $100 like everybody puts down. It's $85.40. Put the real number down, okay? Renter's insurance. Think about all the expenses you have. People, two people will prepare this, and one says they're making monthly expenses are $15,000 a month, and the other one says they're $45,000. It can't be, okay? This, if you got to be the accurate one here, okay? Depending if you're the non-money spouse, a money spouse puts the expenses are lower. Non-money puts their higher. But don't use the excuse you don't know. Okay, figure it out. So these are all kinds of categories here, and you can add more. Okay, and then at the back down here, this number grand total, the shelter, transportation, these numbers all have to back up, and this grand total is critical because I use this all the time to figure out what they're making. Okay, but a lot of times it's totally bogus because they made up all the numbers here. They don't have real numbers. They're missing everything. This savings is very, very important. How much you save in a month? Okay, that is critical. Figure it out. Okay, if there's any money left over, what are you saving? This stuff here has a deep meaning to someone like me as a forensic accountant. Balance sheet. What are your assets? Okay, our house, what is it worth? Well, you want to get call the real estate agent, fine, or get some comparables, fine. Put it as an exhibit. Use your real estate statement. It usually has the value on it, but it should be somewhat realistic. Okay, bank accounts. Get copies of all the bank. Don't say, I don't know. I didn't know. Get them. Okay, figure it out, because if you don't get them, you're going to spend 10x getting them later on. Vehicles. Look the values up. Attach it. Okay, we have 3 vehicles. Here they are. Tangible property. Think about it. What's valuable? You have a collector's item, stocks and bonds. Again, this stuff you need to do the work. If you don't do the work, you're going to pay someone like me to do it. Okay, it's going to be 10x. And it's going to be more because the attorney's going to get us involved early. We'll do it probably cheaper, but a lot of stuff here. Go through everything. Maybe read it once and then go through and get a file and be organized. You'll save yourself a ton of time. The time is even more important than the money, let's face it, especially if you have young children. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you do, smash the like button. If you have questions, guys, just leave them below. I'll answer them, or one of my associates. Thanks a lot.